Stop worrying about living. What? Yeah. Stop worrying about living, being alive. Are you alive now? Are you watching this? Then it's okay. In this now moment, any saber-toothed tigers growling and snarling at you? Anything really happening to you? No. Could you take a nice, long, slow, deep breath in and out? And just for a moment, fantasize and imagine that all that stuff that you worry about, all the stuff that makes your heart race, all the things that you're afraid of are gone. Just use your imagination. You can do it. Give it a try. Go a little deeper and let it go. Now, why would you take my word for it? I'm really just quoting David R. Hawkins, psychiatrist, medical practitioner, deep thinker. And he talks about, and I think he's actually referring to Carl Jung when he talks about anxiety being a time issue and problem. That when we're feeling anxious, when we attribute things to anxiety, we're living too far into the future. And the brain is going nuts. It really is. You're not crazy. You're right. The brain has no clue what the next few weeks are going to bring. It can imagine all kinds of things, just like I was asking you at the beginning of the video to imagine life without being anxious. If it's a habit that you've had for a long time, if this is something that your parents have been plagued with, or relatives around you that you've lived with it's like a hand-me-down condition that's yours. It oftentimes happens with depression. It's the same thing. It's like hand-me-down blues. Um, Putting on emotional wardrobes from somebody else that really don't belong on you. But you've worn them for so long, you don't know what else is there. What Hawkins is dealing with, what he suggests to his clients, what I'm going to suggest to you is just simply this. You didn't give yourself life. You didn't make this happen. There are other people involved, but it wasn't you. The uniqueness of you that is you, your DNA, your eye scan, voice scan. We talk about this all the time. Your fingerprints. You're a one of a kind person. That aliveness that you call you, your I am, you did not bring into existence. You didn't have anything to do with it. It's not your responsibility. If you've ever heard David Hawkins talk about it, it's so funny when he gets to that point and he says, look, your life is not your responsibility. You have to take care of it. I mean, don't be careless with it. But the actual living, length of life, ending, not really yours. There are things that you can do to contribute to it. Heavy smoking, drinking, weight. I did post the other day on the Facebook page an article about, or actually a video, not mine, somebody else, that was talking about the relationship between longevity and a higher level of cholesterol, and finding some similarities to that and reasons why, the science of which I'm not going to go into, not going to talk about it. You can find it there. If you're really interested, then just contact me directly and I'll give you some more suggestions about that. And I'm sure that as medicine continues to study, they're going to find some other reasons why cholesterol levels are not the only thing that have to do with longevity. We're not doing anything about triglycerides. And that's because Big Pharma doesn't have medications for that. It has medications for lowering cholesterol. Okay, anyway, that's off the track. Let's stay with anxiety and fear. And at the bottom of all of our fears, when we go through a list of what are you afraid of, and you kind of work your way through. If you've ever done that in a group setting, it's phenomenal. It's like What are the things that scare you? And you just kind of keep asking the other person, partner up. And what's scary about that? And what's if that happens, and what else is there? And you keep coming, you go through the list of whatever it is, whatever the anxiety is that's bothering you. Ultimately, it comes down to, I don't want to die. Our reptilian part of the brain, this brain stem that comes up, that we call it the reptilian, where its whole focus is on staying alive. So it's not wrong. It's right. And there are certain things right now that may be threatening you, but they're probably not happening in this moment. And that's the power of the present moment. And when we come into the present moment, we leave the future out into the future, we leave the past into the past. We're just centered, grounded. Chances are you're okay. At least I hope you're okay. I'm going to assume it. I'm going to trust it. That if you're watching this, you're okay. If we shorten that span of time between the past, of which we can do nothing, we can't change it, we can't fix it, we can't repair it, we can't undo it. And when we go into the past too far, the reason we get depressed is because the brain says there's nothing I can do and just gives up. Can't help you. Can't change it, can't fix it. What's there for me to do? And so it's not going to spend any more time or energy there. And so we get that flat, depressed feeling about it. Or there's stuff that we're trying to push down, trying to forget. It's all has to do with depressing and depression. And then it becomes a habit of thought. And we just stay there. I was talking to a client the other day, and she said, "Tom, whenever we talk, you're always so up. So what are my choices? I can be up. I can be depressed. I can be up. I can be present in the moment, know that I'm safe and alive. So whatever that life force is, has said okay to me. That's great. That's what I need to hear. I'm okay. And if I worry about what's happening or what's going to happen, when you look back over the hours, years, days, months that you've worried about stuff, you could have that all back. You'd feel young and vibrant. You really would. Because probably most of that didn't happen. And the stuff that did happen, be honest with me. When you went through something as terrible as it was, you survived because you're watching the video. So whatever you imagined was going to happen, whatever the worst case scenario, my guess is that it didn't happen because you're still here. And we've already discussed that what's the worst happens, we're not here anymore. That's our biggest, greatest fear. So as long as you're here, you can change that and shift that. Make that difference, make that change in your life. I want to encourage you to think about ways to do that. And how do you do it? You do your imagination. It isn't here yet. So how do you imagine it to be? Rather than worst case, why not begin practicing imagine best case? Your brain has the capacity to do that. I feel like somebody just said, what are you talking about, Tom? I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. Yeah, but imagine that you don't. The body's a self-healing mechanism. So whatever you got going on in your body, it knows how to heal itself. It knows how to shift and make those changes. We're going to talk more about this going forward, but just for right now, I want you to realize it doesn't have to be. There's lots of cases that the hospital system, the health system says, this is what the diagnosis is. Okay. And what do you do with all the people who have been taking the placebo and their body responds as if they were taking the medicine and they recover? Now, the medical community oftentimes says, well, that's the placebo effect. It's like, well, yeah, of course, there's going to be a certain percentage that recover. What with the sugar pill or whatever it is, the nothing pill. Okay. How did they do that? I think because their mind imagined themselves well. I think it's because their mind said, well, if this is the pill, or if this is the procedure, if this is the process, if this is whatever it is, and it results in health and vitality, then I'm going to assume that that's what I'm taking, or that's what I'm going to experience. And in this case, the assumption did not make a fool of themselves and everybody else. They actually recovered. They actually got what they wanted. So imagine, use the power of your imagination to see yourself that way. So why am I up? It's not 100% of the time, by the way, but it's the way I want to be. I want to know that everything works out for me. That's on another video, but I'm going to repeat it again. Everything works out for me. There's an abundance in this world. Now I know my culturescape. I love that. It's like landscape, culturescape. It's like my culture tells me everything is scarce, limited. Well, that's its thinking. That's not my thinking. We have everything on planet Earth that we could possibly need. The creation gave us everything that's here. There was stuff here. There were elements here that the cave folks living in caves had no idea what to do with. They didn't have a clue what that stuff was for, like uranium. There's, anyway, it just all, as we discover more, as we find more, we use more. So maybe there's something that somebody's going to discover today in some laboratory that will change, help, modify whatever it is that I'm suffering with or struggling with. Maybe there's a person I'm going to meet today. I haven't been to the post office today. Maybe there's some letter that's coming to me that will deal with and address the very issue that I've been worrying about and solve it, and it disappears, and it's like, take a nice deep breath, and it's gone. Why don't I just anticipate that? Do it now. And what I find happens, and I know a lot of you who follow the manifestation groups of people, what happens when we direct our mind to anticipate what it is that we want, even though it's not here yet, it arrives in the future. We materialize it, we manifest it. You can also have the reverse of that. You can manage the worst case scenario, and guess what? It comes right at you. See, I told you so. No. You told you so. I didn't tell you that. What I said was, think the most positive things that are possible. Be the most optimistic you can possibly be, and then times it by 10. It's all this 10x everything. 10x the best ever. Imagine that. The what if, not the what if most negative, worst, horrible, but what if the best, the gracious, most abundant, most affluent, whatever you want is coming toward you now. And why not? It's all here. Any of those versions are possible. Think about like living in a circle, a 360-degree circle. And your particular perspective right at the moment is only one. There's 359 other ways of looking at it. When you get to the other side of the circle and you're looking back, it's the exact opposite. So if I'm looking at it from the negative side, I want to get to the other side of the circle and look at it from the positive side. I want to imagine the best. So how do I deal with anxiety? Anxiety is an illness of the future. It's a fear of the unknown. Is it real? Of course. It's like a foggy day in London where it's all, you can't see. You know there's something there. Your body, all your systems, including your intuition, is telling you there's something there. But it doesn't know either. And your brain, as powerful and amazing as this thing is, it's limited to what it perceives through the senses. And what does it see? What does it see? Like with my eyes, what am I seeing? Well, first of all, the image is upside down and my brain interprets it as right side up. The color spectrums that I can see, the actual stuff that I can see out of the whole light spectrum, I think it's what, 2% or something out of almost infinity. You don't see X-rays. You don't see ultraviolet. There's a lot of stuff you don't see. You don't see the radio waves. You don't see the microwaves. You can't see any of that. So how can you say you see? I would say we only can, it's by faith that we move. Always, like it or not. And that expression about I'm from Missouri, I'm going to believe it when I see it. Yeah, no. I mean, you might want to wait that long, but I'd suggest believe it first, and then you'll probably see it. It will manifest itself. Whatever you think you're seeing, if you're visualizing the worst case scenario, you probably see it. So what's a fast cure for anxiety? Come back into the present. Know that you're okay. You're not dying. You're not going to until it's time. And even then, it's not your responsibility. As David Hawkins says, when it's time to go, it's time to go. It's not my responsibility. I didn't bring myself here. I didn't maintain my life on a day-to-day basis. As I've said in some other videos, when I had that life-changing experience this past December, and I realized that it was a death or a near-death experience, I suddenly realized, yeah, my life is not mine. I have life. I am alive. And yes, I have enough probably willpower to will myself to stop living. But if that's the case, then I also have the willpower to will myself to live. And if I'm going to do that, then I want to use my willpower to live the best life I can, to imagine the best happening. And you can say, well, Tom, you're just being delusional. Well, so is imagining the worst. That's just as delusional. You have no evidence that the next moment's going to be a disaster, except that the imagination in your mind is telling you that. And you've been practicing it and using it for so long, even with medication, you're having difficulty with it. Now, I'm not saying to stop taking your meds, but I'm asking you to reverse this thinking process that scares the life out of you and go into being non-anxious. Just be non-anxious in your life. Saying, I don't know what's happening, but I'm trusting whoever gave me this life is maintaining this life. And that there are no worst case scenarios, and I'm going to start imagining the best that's for me. And it'll be particularly unique to you, just as when I imagine the best for me, it's particularly unique to me. I'm one of a kind. Out of the 8 billion people on planet Earth, I'm one. I'm only one, but I am one. And I have my own imagination. I have my own, what would be the best day ever. And you know what? I'm experiencing it today because I began the day, and there's a video on here about how to begin the day. I began the day affirming that I'm having the best day ever. And you know what? I am. Try it out. Let me know how it is. Make some comments down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and come on in. Kind of join our community here where we start to make these shifts in our thinking and get into the flow of life in a good way. Get out of the rocks and the rapids and the shallows and come out into the depth and the breadth, the height, the width, the amazing life that's here for you. Once in a lifetime. Come on. Want to work with me? Contact information's in the box below.